Welcome to Veterans Corner, and we are here today to talk with Mr. Diogo. How you pronounce your name again?
Tavres.
Tavres. And he's here today to share information with what he does, and he is also an agent for Northwestern Mutual.
Correct.
And he will tell us, or rather share information about what he does and what Northwestern does for veterans as well as the public. So from there, my friend, thank you for coming on board.
Thank you for having me.
Okay,
Excited
you
to
take
be
care.
on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me what you do here.
Yeah. So my background, as a young child, immigrated to the U.S. Grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and felt a calling to serve in the military. Coming from Portugal, there's a requirement for us to do 3 years of
Portugal?
mandatory service. Yes.
Okay.
And so, I didn't feel like serving a country that I had only lived in for 6 months was what I needed to do. So the opportunity came. I became a U.S. citizen, ended up going through the ROTC program at Seton Hall University in New Jersey, and then commissioned as a lieutenant in the Army,
Okay.
and then went off and served in various command and staff positions, various places, and did multiple deployments with the Army. Upon retirement, or I should say prior to retiring, my last assignment was running the ROTC program here at the University of Louisiana Lafayette.
Okay.
A job I really enjoyed. And when it came time to retire, my wife and I decided this was a great community to raise a family, and we decided to stay here. So did a couple of other things after retiring from the military and didn't really find that I had purpose in life in those things that I was doing. And this opportunity to come to Northwestern came about a second time. Small background, my mom was a financial advisor, my dad was in the mortgage business, and my grandfather had been in banking and insurance. So
Okay.
I grew up understanding a lot of these things and being taught those things, which a lot of young people, parents,
Aware of today.
yeah, parents, they do what they can with their children to raise them in the best way possible, but sometimes they just don't know. And so I was fortunate that I had parents that did know. And so when this opportunity came up the first time, I passed up on it after a conversation with my mom. And several years after finding that I had no purpose in what I was doing, the opportunity came up a second time and I jumped all over it. So I've been at Northwestern a little over 6 years now,
Okay.
and
Okay.
really love what I do on a daily basis helping our clients.
Well, that's fine, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank
You know.
you.
Now, as an agent with Northwestern, just what do you offer or services that you offer to the veteran community as well as the public?
Yeah, so for the public, Northwestern Mutual is a 169-year-old company, Fortune, 100, and very well admired in America, very strong financially, very stable. And the company started out doing life insurance when it first started. Over time, it's added several other products on the risk side is where we kind of focused. So disability insurance, long-term care, annuities, permanent life insurance. So we do quite a bit of that stuff. And over time, Northwestern saw the need to add other things. So today, we also do investments and retirement planning. And what I like to tell people is Northwestern takes the two things that people are concerned about. How do I get to retirement and live the life that I'm looking for while making sure that I'm protecting everything that's important today if something, God forbid, were to happen? So we sit down with clients and really provide comprehensive, holistic planning. And you'll hear people out there talk about financial planning. And not all financial planning is the same. And so it's about educating our clients on what the options are that allow them to make the best decisions for themselves at that time.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know sitting down with, well, put it like this: the public, majority of the public, really don't understand insurance to start off with.
They don't, and I think insurance has people look at it in a negative light, but at the end of the day, it's something that's needed. And I think the older generations really understood the benefit of life insurance. Life expectancy was lower,
Yes.
and at any point in time, the breadwinner of that household could end up not making it home. And so, how do you make sure that you position your family in the best possible way so that they can continue living the life that you had imagined for them with you not being around?
Yeah.
And I think people overlook that fact. It isn't sexy.
No,
It's not the
it's not
stock
sexy. That's for sure.
market. It's not exciting.
Yes,
Nobody wants to talk about it.
yes,
But it's very important. And I think that's where something that I love is that I have those tough conversations with clients. And a lot of times they don't think they're going to have that tough conversation, but it's a very important part of the plan. It's the foundation of everything that we do.
yeah, because in well, planning, usually young people starting out, they think they can live forever to start off with.
That's right. Well, and it's funny. It's funny you say that, Mr. Greg, because I work with clients from their 20s all the way until I think my oldest client right now is 86 years old.
Okay.
And so I work with clients everything in between, and what somebody at 20 is thinking is completely different than what somebody in their 30s that's starting a family, or in their 40s that their families are starting to get older, in their 60s getting ready to retire, and then later on when they're thinking about what's the legacy that they leave behind for their family.
Yeah, yeah,
What becomes important tomorrow is not necessarily important today. And my job is to help educate those people to understand that these things cannot be overlooked. We need to take a look at these things as well. Even though you may not think they're important today, they're going to become very important tomorrow.
Well, I know, well, with my parents, well, World War II generation, they got involved in insurance, but at that time, life was a struggle for a lot of people.
Right.
And so they had these weekly insurance, or I forgot what you called it. It's a weekly, or they come by and insurance guy comes by, pays so much, $250 for, yeah, at that time it was worth it. But like with my parents, I couldn't understand. You keeping a $250 policy, you're paying so much money, you've been doing this since I'm a grown man. You're not getting nothing out of it. So the older generation had to be taught, but at the same time, a lot missed it because of economic, financial stress and so forth. But what you guys do, I mean, you prepare for the future. And I'm sorry to say, a lot of people right now, even right now, have been going through some tough time just making that happen.
They are.
Because the way our financial situation is right now, our culture is, and nobody's know which way this world is going to go, and they're holding on, and they don't want to spend money. But in your case, I mean, you're looking at either you do or you don't.
Correct.
You do it for your family. You're no longer, you're more responsible for your family than what you are for yourself.
Correct.
You take care of your family by taking care of you first, and it all comes into play. And that's where you guys come in.
It's funny you mention that because, I'm just here as an advisor to kind of tell you, here are the things based on my expertise that I think you should be doing, that other people are doing, why it's important. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to not make any mistakes, which is the person I'm dealing with or the client I'm working with, they're in control of that situation. So they make the decisions that are important for them and their family.
Yeah.
I might not agree with the decisions that that person is making, but at the end of the day, it's their decision, and I'm only here to advise
right.
and provide them with the guidance that hopefully they will take and run forward with it.
Yeah, but people also really needs to know that in life there will be ups and downs.
There are.
And I can attest to that personally. In my younger years with the family, I had good coverage, but then the economy crashed, and I went bankrupt. Start all over again. No money. What happened?
That's right.
Insurance policy goes out the window, and you struggle, to get back up on your feet. And sometimes you don't make it. You just on a monthly basis you're surviving, and even though you guys out there trying to convince people that you need to take care of your family, especially when their family is young.
Right.
If you have a grown person, a grown child that's 30 years of age, really don't need to take care of him anymore. He's taking care of himself. But in that situation, you guys got programs that will fit their needs at that time.
Correct.
And such programs as what that you would think?
So, term life insurance is very affordable. And I think a lot of times people jump to the first person that talks to them instead of kind of looking around. I think people are going to do business with people they know, like, and trust. That's very important. And I tell my clients, if you don't like me and you don't trust me, you probably need to find somebody else.
Yeah.
And you're not going to hurt my feelings. And I think that if we look at it from that standpoint, it's what's in the best interest of the client and what do they need to do to better themselves, right? But one nice thing I do like about Northwestern, and there are two things that I really love about Northwestern that I share with my clients.
Okay.
The first one is that we have a 97% retention rate of our clients.
97.
97. It's the highest in the industry, and it's because we build relationships with our clients. I'm not here to sell my client a policy or a product. I'm here to figure out what their goals and needs are and where they want to head to, and then help them get there and accomplish that.
Okay.
And if we build the right kind of relationship with our client, they are constantly meeting with us and making sure that their things are heading in the right direction. So I always tell my clients, look, my goal is to reach out to you at least twice a year. I'm going to call you on your birthday, wish you a happy birthday. That's the only reason I'm calling. Sometimes it triggers them to say, hey, yeah, I'm another year older and I need to have this conversation.
Right.
And then I follow up generally about 6 or 7 months before their birthday just to check in, see if they want to sit back down. A lot of clients will shy away from that because they think that if they meet with you, you're going to try to sell them something else. But it's not about selling them something. It's about, okay, last time we got together, this is where your plan was at. And these are the things that you told me were important. Have we moved forward in doing those things? And if we have, then let's move on to the next step. And if we haven't, what do we need to do to get back on track or to keep the course or to do the things you want to do? It's no different than when you travel in your car and you plug the
Yes.
destination into your GPS. Do you wander around
Right.
aimlessly to figure out how you
Or you
get there?
follow a path.
Or are you following the path that is going to get you the most efficient way? And that's what we're here to do. So the first thing is that building a relationship with a client is so important to us. The second thing I love about Northwestern is that while we do represent Northwestern Mutual, and we are the only advisors or agents that can sell a Northwestern product, is those that are affiliated with Northwestern Mutual, we're exclusive. We can look outside. We have access to hundreds of other companies. And so, when a client passes away, and unfortunately the spouse calls us up and says, hey, I know my husband or my wife had life insurance with you, you know, they're not asking what company was it with.
No.
They're not asking, was it permanent life insurance? Was it
Yes.
term life insurance? They're not asking, how much were the premiums? They
No.
just want to know, are they going to be okay?
Right.
Will their family be able to continue to do the things that they need to do that they were doing before their loved one passed away? And so we have access to a lot of other companies, which makes it great for our clients because if a client wants Prudential or AIG or Banner or Penn or Mass Mutual, we have access to all of those companies on top of what we can offer them from Northwestern Mutual.
So really, in the essence, you're acting like an advocate for everybody.
Correct. I, to me, it's about the amount. Do we have the right amount at the most affordable price that allows you to have that in place with a quality company? And if the answer is yes to those three things, then I'm truly acting as a fiduciary for my clients.
Okay.
That word fiduciary gets thrown around so much, and people ask the question, well, are you a fiduciary? And essentially, what a fiduciary is just somebody who is doing what is in the best interest of the client ahead of doing what's in the best interest of themselves.
Right.
And so we generally think about a fiduciary when it comes to investments, but a fiduciary is doing the right thing for their clients when they're giving advice on budgeting, when they're giving advice on investments, on insurance, on whatever it is from a financial aspect that I'm sharing with the client.
Right.
It's what's going to position them in their best place to be successful to achieve those goals and dreams in the future.
Well, if you can, in other words, if you can get them to understand that, say, a young person in their early 20s who's married have different needs at that time.
Correct.
When they're in their 30s, it may change a little bit more, and there's additional needs or maybe less needs, but you have to meet their needs at that time. And every decade produces another set of problems. You have to worry about what do I do now, And like you said, you handle the young people as well as the older people and everything in between. But everybody has different needs throughout the entire life. And I know myself, I had young needs. I had needs in the beginning, certain things. And right now, my needs not as great. So my children are all taken care of. I don't have to worry about it anymore, even though my wife is not with us anymore. But I'm comfortable leaving it knowing that my children are taken care of.
Correct.
I don't need to support them anymore to some degree.
No, and I think when it starts getting to clients in retirement, that's where your mortality starts to really come to light.
Yes, it does.
And you realize that, hey, I'm now in overtime, right? I'm on, God's giving me extra time now. But we start thinking about, will my family be okay when I'm gone? Will they remember Papa or Grandpa or
Yeah,
whatever the name is that they're
that's right.
calling you?
Right.
And you want them to remember. I mean, if I asked you, how many generations back can you go and name your family? Most people could probably go back to their like great grandparents, and that's about where it stops. But could you create a plan that would allow 8 generations down the road, 9 generations down the road to remember who you were? And so, I use the example of the Rockefellers.
Okay.
The Rockefellers, John D. did a lot of really great things to position his family correctly. Where, I mean, he was famous, but he is well known by multiple generations long
Yes.
after he's been gone.
Yes.
And that's what we want to try to do for our clients.
Well, I understand what you're saying. Just like with Veterans Corner, we have programs, and in one program, I'm trying to leave a legacy behind. Not just the program. I want something that's going to continue long after I'm gone.
Correct.
Okay. And it's not about making money, but it's about setting up my children's generation and all the generations coming up after us. At some point in time, they may see my picture on the wall. They don't know who in the world I am, let alone what my name is. Okay. But if what I do today affects them and their children, I can't. It's just fantastic.
Right.
But in society today, with the amount of issues that we have and facing us on a daily basis, sometimes it's kind of tough to look down the road because, like with my youngest son, he and his wife decided not to have any more children. They don't like what they see. They're both CPAs, and I'm saying, really? Say, yeah, Dad, we're not going on that road. Well, I I respect that, okay, but it also tells me the story is not good. If you're thinking like this, there's no hope in the future. I mean, what are we doing? We got to look forward. We got to have some future. Your your children, your grandchildren. I'm hoping that my great grandchildren, they'll never know who I really am. All they know is go word, Grandpa. That's it.
Right.
So, but if I can leave them in a situation where they will prosper and on my efforts at this time, so that they can go forward with their children, my goodness, what else can you ask for?
Right.
And I think that's what you guys are trying to do, in trying to service the public. Also, too, what type of programs or services do you provide for veterans? If you,
Yeah, so to kind of Northwestern Mutual focuses on 3 key areas when it comes to supporting the community. Childhood cancer is big for us, and we sponsor Alex's Lemonade and Stand and a couple of other organizations. We believe in supporting education, so we contribute a lot of money towards schools and universities, colleges and universities. And the third area is veterans. We care about our veteran population and making sure that we're educating them. It's funny because I recently attended what we call Fast Track Academy, which is a school at Northwestern Mutual. And initially, that school was started as a career school for veterans that were returning from World War II to get them the lessons and the learning of what they needed to do as insurance agents to become members of Northwestern Mutual and go out into the public and continue to serve their fellow countrymen. So, we do believe highly in veterans. When it comes to veterans and having conversations, it's funny because veterans a lot of times get taken advantage of. You are in one location for so long, and those companies think that they can take advantage of you because you're not going to be there long enough. And today, with the internet and social media and getting the word out, those things are changing a little bit. But I really believe in sitting down with veterans and educating them on the things that are available to them. And so I think with your program, this is a great segue into what are the things that as a financial advisor I focus on, particularly for my veteran population, my veteran community that I serve. And so I take a look at, number one, educating them on what do they have. both as an active service member, transitioning service member, or as a veteran that's been out for however long. What are the things that are available through the different states, veterans associations, VA, Veterans Affairs departments, and every state has additional benefits. So let's talk about Louisiana because most of your viewers are going to be from this state. Louisiana has done a lot of great things in order to support our veteran population. It's one of 26 states that does not tax a veteran, a retired veteran, on their pension. So
Yes.
that's one great benefit. It provides veterans at the 50% level with free licenses, free license plates, hunting and fishing licenses, the ability to go to state parks without paying any admission on that. It offers different resources, such as if you're a 90% disabled veteran, your children could go to any state university tuition and fee free, above and beyond being able to use your GI Bill to help them out, or TOPS. So that's another benefit that a lot of people don't know about. I take advantage of it. I mean, my son is at UL, my daughter's at LSU. They're getting great educations, and fortunately, through the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs, I'm not having to pay for that. There are homestead exemptions for disabled veterans, and if you are a 100% disabled veteran, you pay no
Yes.
tax on the parish
Right.
property tax. So there are a lot of really great benefits, and one of the things I try to educate my transitioning veterans is don't look at how much that company is offering you as a paycheck only. Yes, I may make $150,000 and move to California versus getting paid $80,000 and moving to Louisiana, but how much more I get to keep in my pocket and all the veterans benefits that are available by moving to Louisiana are so much better than if I were to live in California. So just those things are things that we should consider as we're going through it.
Well, what you have said, okay, that's one of the reasons why I started Veterans Corner 14 years ago, was to provide information to the veteran community. Because when I was a DVOP with the Louisiana Workforce Commission, I gained insight at that time, and I understood that there are programs and processes that the VA have that veterans are not even aware of.
A lot of
And
programs.
there's a lot of information out there. And I said, I made a deliberate choice to get involved in starting Veterans Corner and turn it into a nonprofit in 2015, is to provide that information. You don't know what people really need. So for me, when you say categories, I cover everything because I'm not sure who's going to be listening
Right.
and who's going to need insurance. Got from there, I go to the VA suicide thing. I go to a home care. I mean, you never know what people need.
Correct.
But you have to be aware of what's out there.
Correct.
So as far as I'm concerned, you guys do the best thing. I tell you, I hate to say that this is wrapping up, but can you just shortly summarize what we've gone through so far?
Yeah, I think, the reason people don't seek out advice a lot of times is they look at social media, and sometimes there's misinformation out there as to what's available and what they can do. Sometimes they think there's a cost associated with it that is above what they're willing to pay for it. And I think that just asking the questions and looking into it, that doesn't cost you anything.
That's the thing.
It could cost you a lot of money if you don't.
Yes.
And so I tell my clients, we don't charge a fee to meet with the client. It's about having a conversation
Yes.
and figuring out, can we help them and do the things that we need to do? If we can and it makes sense, we move forward. And if it doesn't, it's okay.
All I can say, my friends, thank you for coming on board. And all I can say is, the United States, God bless the United States.
Amen.
Yes.